Hello ladies, I'm here with the delightful Catalina.
Hi.
I've been just coming into Catalina's room and explaining to her, can I film this please? And she's been very gracious to say yes. And the first thing you've asked me is kind of what's going on with me. So the reason I'm here is I've got quite a bloated tummy the last few weeks, and my movements have not been that regular, and I have a little bit of kind of acid reflux, which I know I have. I have myself medically checked out. I went to have a colonoscopy a while ago, and then I had a little ultrasound to check all the, you know, the kind of that, which we'll go into, was all fine. So I know medically that's all right, but I still have this uncomfortable feeling in my tummy. I know I'm eating the wrong things, and I kind of crave sugar, and it's got out of control recently. So I thought, okay, let's come to somebody with a wonderful reputation. I'm at a place called Grace Medical, which is in West London. But welcome, Catalina.
Thank you so much.
So what else do you need to know of my thing before we then discuss? Because this is interesting to me. This is like, that's what's going on inside my tummy, and I need to understand it better.
Yeah, so welcome ladies, and thank you so much for having me on your show. So we already went through some of your medical history, and I made notes. I've taken her blood pressure. I asked you about any operations that you might have had in the past, any complications, whether you've taken any medications.
Yeah.
So all of these we already gone through, and we established that we can go ahead with the treatment. I informed you that we're going to do a rectal exam, which I think it's very, very important. So ladies, if you ever go to a professional colonic hydrotherapist, make sure that the person will do that procedure. It's quite important.
So is that to see that it's okay for the tubes to go up?
Yes.
And to make sure there's no hemorrhoids or anything in the way or whatever?
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be using disposable items anyway, but it is plastic after all.
Okay.
So it's as you can imagine, if you do have some hemorrhoids or even fissures, anything, it's quite important to check that before you actually put this plastic in there. This plastic could move inside you as the peristalsis, which is the natural contraction of the colon, gets quite strong. So we don't want to irritate it.
All right.
So that's the first thing that we need to do.
All right. And I'm comfortable. I mean, I've had this years ago, once before, and I don't find it squeamish. And my family is a family where we discuss at the breakfast table our movements. So I apologise to anyone who finds this really tricky to discuss. But I think it's something that sometimes there's things that are embarrassing to discuss that we most need to discuss because we might be harbouring a problem we're not telling anyone about.
Exactly.
Or we might just suffer in silence, or we might just want a good old cleanse. Okay, so
Absolutely.
can you take me through this? Because I see things on here and I think, okay, I could tick a few.
Just 1 second, let me just look at these forms. So one of the things that you mentioned is bloatedness, right?
Yes.
So first of all, ladies, the awareness is extremely minimal when it comes to bowel movements and how important bowel health is. I always say I don't have a job. I actually have a mission to save the world one colon at a time.
In Britain, I love that.
In Britain, you know, we are actually quite a constipated nation, and I do believe that it's partly because we're not quite expressive of our emotions, and we often just stuck it all back down.
Oh, let's cover it up.
That will have an effect on your bowel.
Okay.
Because your bowel in the top part is very much of the emotional part where you're actually holding onto things.
Yeah.
So when you holding into the emotions, you're actually suppressing your bowel movements. Physically, there is actually physical change that's happening called a spastic colon. So when you're very tight in the top area, you know, you end up not releasing as much as you would naturally do. The breathing has also something to do with it, because we often breathe very shallow.
Yeah, I know I hardly breathe, so I know for me, no, I seriously, some people lie next to me and say, are you breathing, Trinny? So I know that that's an issue, and I know that I run around very rapidly all day long, and you know, if I'm having a bad or good day, I'll run on it, and sometimes I'm running on an empty engine. So I kind of, even though a part of me cringes, I need to be very honest with you, at that sort of, it's emotion I'm holding in, I feel it's not metaphysical. There's a word when the two come together, and I know that, you know, headaches can be tension, and not just because you had some bad cheese, you know, that everything has a relationship. So I hear what you're saying, that maybe I've got some thing there, but I'm happy to look at the physicalness.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, physical symptoms, you need to know that a lot of the symptoms will actually start or originates, problem symptoms, from the bowel. The colon is king. If your bowel is holding on to pounds of undigested, or even just, can I say the word, rotting?
Rotting. How old can that stuff be up there?
I can't answer that question unless you put that to the microscope.
Okay.
To be
Well,
exact,
yeah, okay.
you know, you
Okay.
really got to do that. However, I
You
have
can see
seen
colour.
things that the color. Funny enough, people say that the older it is, the darker it is.
Yeah.
I don't find that to be true.
Okay.
Because I've seen the type of color that it's more like a box, you know, the color of the paper box, which is very light.
Paper box.
And it was the
Okay.
most putrefied. It was, I cannot tell you, it was candida, it was yeasty, it was just, it lost its color. It's lost its color.
Even Anna is having
So-
a little, her tummy's going round here when you're describing things like this.
Yeah,
I want to
it's
get
a
on
bit-
with it. I want to get on with it.
Okay,
So
cool.
what do we, can we get on
I'm
with it?
sorry,
Let me-
one of the
yes,
ladies
yes.
said that she vomited because she didn't feel well. Because any ideas why?
When she had a colonic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, very good question. Sometimes the person could feel a little bit nauseous.
Yeah.
It's often when the water goes inside you, and hopefully they don't put too much inside of you so that you feel like up to here, because
Yeah.
that's not the way to do it.
Okay.
This stuff on the inside, the waste, it's starting to soak. Now, remember the bloodstream is going to just literally absorb everything.
Yeah.
It cannot choose between the good and bad and the ugly. It's going to take everything that there is.
Okay.
Once the content of the bowel it starts to soak up, it's quite toxic. A lot of it has been there for a
Okay.
while. Okay, it's just sitting there, putrefying, rotting further.
So with the water going up, it's
And
filling
that-
that like
the
a gas.
colon, yes, you see, the colon is the organ of hydration. So the water will be absorbed as you're giving it to it.
Okay.
You know, so the colon number one priority is that you are hydrated.
Yeah.
If you have stuff on the inside that you're not even aware of, and it's just hardened up, and it's
Mhm,
there for
mhm.
a while, that's going to be rock solid. So that's going to get to be softened first.
Okay.
During that process, the water gets absorbed,
Yeah.
the blood through the bloodstream,
Mhm.
and you might feel this feeling of nauseousness because it's quite toxic.
Okay.
That needs to come out.
So that could
So
be
as
why
soon
she
as you
had
get
it.
the
Yeah.
release,
Yeah.
as soon as you get the release, that nauseousness will go away.
Okay.
Okay, it's
Ooh,
just
okay.
temporary.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you still got some fecal waste inside you that's soaked up, because one treatment is often not enough to really remove everything that's there.
Yeah.
You know, that may continue. That feeling may continue. That matter will needs to come away.
Okay.
As soon as it left the body, your nauseousness will go.
Okay. Good. All right.
One
I
more
hope
thing
that
I want
answers
to
your
point
question.
out is bloatedness,
Yes.
because we're coming back to you.
Yes,
since
because
I'm
yeah,
really-
let's come back to me and my bloated tummy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ladies, the crucial part of
Can
the
you see
colon.
that, Anna?
Can you see this?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, this is a demonstration of what it's supposed to look like. It doesn't look like this. It's a lie.
Okay.
You know, everybody's showing you
Love
this
your
picture.
upfrontness, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's showing this picture. It cannot look like this, and partly because the actual width of, not the width, the length of the colon naturally about over a meter and a half. I would
Okay.
say a meter and a half.
Okay.
Now imagine a meter and a half is probably until about here.
Yeah.
How on earth can you possibly fit that in this section? You can't.
Yeah.
It cannot look like this.
Okay.
The direction is correct. It's always going to go from the right side to the left side
Mhm.
through the rectum, but it will not look like this because then half of it will be hanging out.
Okay.
So it's going to have to be just as entwined as the small intestine and coiled.
Can I just ask you, I'm going to go back here because on my biology, I didn't pass biology O level, so that's how little I know. But after the bottom entry hole,
You mean
there's
the
the colon, or is it the intestine? So this bit is what?
This is the large intestine. So
Okay.
all of this is the large intestine.
All right. So
up
when you
until
talk about the
appendix.
colon, you talk about the whole thing.
I
or
refer
what?
to it as the whole thing, but when you look at the anatomy books,
Yeah.
they usually just refer to it to like one part of it.
All right. So
The old
it's
school
below
is
the
like-
intestine.
So there are two intestines in the body. You've got the small intestine,
Yeah.
which is literally 25 feet long,
Okay.
and you've got the colon, which is large intestine, which I call colon.
Fine. Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, whatever.
Okay with
Okay.
that. All right.
So
Go back to my bloating then, because I want to get on that.
Yeah.
I want to get on that. Bed.
bloating, obviously the gas can't get through. All right, so that's the key now. Why wouldn't the gas get through? Something is in the way that's hardened up. But most importantly, the width of the bowel, and that's what I specialize on, the width of the bowel is actually deformed. That's when you said that you had that interesting kind of feeling that needed
Yes.
to be examined with the ultrasound.
Okay.
You know, you've had that feeling because it could have been trapping, it could have been something else just located there and not coming through. So imagine like a bottleneck, okay? This is a spasm, literally. Good illustration.
Okay.
If this is not the width of the bowel, but if this was the width of the colon, just
Yeah.
assuming,
Yeah.
imagine one part of it goes very, very narrow.
Yeah.
Coming back to the emotional issues in the top part, very often people have a lot of spasms in the mid part, sort of up here, right
Yeah.
underneath the rib cage.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of stopping the movement. Okay, so these are the type of, I call it deformation, it's a very strong word
Like a
for it.
bottleneck. Okay.
Now, I'm trying to correct these during my treatment, so I literally specialize on those so that you will get a regular bowel movements moving on. You should not rely on this treatment, you know, but it's important that
It gets the flow
fixed,
going.
gets the flow going.
Okay.
And I personally focus on the actual structure, i.e. the resculpting, the reshaping of the width of your bowel. The length is given, fine, but the width is important. Then you won't have bloatedness.
Okay, I totally get that, and I love that. And
Is that
the
okay?
reason I love it is because I can relate to it on a superficial beauty level. So when somebody gives me a facial massage very well, and they go inside the mouth, and they do that, I'll show that to you one day, ladies, it's fantastic. When you go inside here and you're reshaping your cheekbone by moving and releasing muscle, so I love the idea that you're releasing my colon by slightly massaging, by putting it more in the right area so it doesn't block so much. To me, I think that's what you're saying.
I wouldn't use the word massage, or it
No,
looks
but
like
just
it's
you
through
kind
the
of
touch.
What do you resculpt?
I like to, in my, you know, in the way I work, I like to use the word resculpting the colon resculpting. And that's what often happens, so that then the shape, I mean, you look really fit, so you don't really have that much to worry about. But if there's a slightly overweight lady who really wants to just reshape that weight, you know, area, it's so possible, and it's so fast, because I usually have, well, my signature program is literally 3 sessions. In the first part, I'm addressing the side, so that the side kind of comes in, you know, and you start seeing
so you're
that
saying
line.
you actually can change women's shape.
It changes the shape. It
So
changes
because
I remove from areas that have been filled out and taken away from you the natural shape that you have.
So what you're saying is, we need to get started, but I think this is really interesting for ladies who feel they've lost their waist, and we can talk about menopause and all the things going into it.
Oh, there's so much.
Can we get? I hope this subject is fascinating for you, ladies. I've always found it quite fascinating, and if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, what do you want me to do?
So let's do this. First of all, the tower is on top of you. I could give you
no, that's okay.
this, but I
think
it's just going to be in the way
I
of
can
me
just
working.
do that. Yep. Okay.
So,
like that?
Yes.
All right.
lovely.
Fine. Okay. All right. So
Okay,
you're on my face there, Anna.
Yes.
Yes. I think it's something that, you know, I've got to say, my partner said to me today, Trinny, I don't know if you should do this actually.
This way from
Oh,
me.
sorry.
Yeah,
And I
this
just
way.
thought, all you ladies kind of share with me on my journey of discovering different things, and I do find this idea fascinating. And I grew up in the era of Princess Diana, and she kind of quite famously had colonics. And because Princess Diana was a bit quirky and a little bit alternative medicine, some people might look at it and think, oh God, what is that? And it in a way maybe put people off when somebody quite well known is doing a very new thing. And I've always been interested in exactly what occurs. So I'm so happy to be here today and to really learn it and to see what you think, ladies. Well, I'll tell you what I think about it afterwards.
One of the ladies is asking, is hula hoop help sculpturing?
Is what?
Well, no,
Hula
I
hoop.
mean,
Hula
sculpting is
hoop.
something completely different. Hula hoop is going to help you to tone the bowel, not the bowel, but the waist in itself. Careful, don't go for extra weighted hula hoop. I did that, and I ended up bruised, you know, completely bruised.
I mean, where did this come from?
But
I
do the
love
hula
this
hoop because
hula.
it's wonderful.
Yes, I mean, I do this thing when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning that I sometimes hold on here and move as if I've got a hula hoop on. See, that feels so tender.
You see, your issue, okay, let me tell you, you've got a little bit in this lower part, you know, sort of more like a mid part, just underneath the belly button. You have more on your right side. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Then on your left side. So you've got more on the right side, but your main issue is here.
What, you can feel that?
Yes, I can.
So what are you feeling?
This is it's a funny thing to describe. I can just, you know, there is a tightness. There is a
I feel that
spasm, what I was
tightness.
describing, like a bottleneck. And I have a feeling, usually when it's in the top, then usually the right side end up building up. Because remember, the direction of the flow is always from the right side to the left side.
So that
doesn't
corner,
matter
it
how
gets,
much square the colon is.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. So you are going to have.
I want to ask, ladies, are you finding this interesting?
Oh yes.
Because I'm finding this fascinating.
Lovely. You've got more gas on your left side.
Well, how did you know I had gas trapped on my left
Sound
side?
of
You can do this on my tummy, I don't mind. Yeah, so...
It's the sound. It's relax for a second.
Yeah.
It's the sound. It makes it more hollow. It's kind of like a hollow sound that you have. So the good news is you got good tonicity on your tummy, so this should give you nice peristalsis. Peristalsis is the life of the colon.
Okay.
It's so important to have it nice and strong. Can I please turn you over to your left side? Ladies, it's time for a rectal exam. So
All right, fine. You needn't have highlighted that. We can still continue talking. Okay. But okay. So tell me. Let's just talk as if we're talking about the ingredients for a cocktail party.
One question.
Yes. Yes. Good.
Doesn't colonic irrigation upset and remove your gut flora?
I was expecting that question.
Yeah, we were waiting
You
for
know,
that one.
the funny thing is, it's if there's any loose good bacteria, of course, any bacteria, whether it's bad or good, it might come away. But the colon made up of 4 layers, the actual walls of the colon. I personally never worry about that, and I've been asked this question so many times because the proof is in the pudding. You know, when you're actually soaking up all the old stuff which has been putrid, that is detrimental to your health. Most of your symptoms, whether it's bloating, headaches, migraine, tiredness, even back pain, will come from that. Bad skin will come from that. So this is actually one of the greatest secrets for beauty treatments. And the royals used to use this. It was a secret for a long time. So my answer is I would never worry about that. First of all, the gut repopulate very fast. And I always say to the ladies to take a probiotic. But not because you have removed the good stuff. It's because it's an opportunity for you to put the good thing back in right there and then when the ugly ones are gone.
Okay,
the
so
bad
it's
ones
like
are gone.
a beautiful bed.
It's like a reset.
A lovely bed, hoed bed with no weeds in it. That's what you're saying. And let's put some grass seeds in when there's no weeds there, as opposed to let's try and grow some grass amongst lots of other problems.
Absolutely,
I get that.
absolutely.
I get that. Yeah.
So you're kind of resetting the system. And like I said, you know, in my experience, I treated over 13,000 people. Can I please open this leg?
Yeah.
That sounds good, just to put this. They feel much better. They feel so much better straight after.
Yeah.
So when you feel better and you walk out and your headache is gone and some of the symptoms are just subsiding, you know, to me that's the result.
It's that instant gratification, but doing also long-term benefit. I think that's what I like about the idea of colonic hydrotherapy, because I want to take care of this inside. Yeah, I do. But I'm just now. Where are we at? We're doing the. Have you done the little investigation exam? Have you
wouldn't know about it if I've done it. So
okay.
this is yet
Is there
to
any,
come.
like somebody's asking, is there any food that is good for colon, like particularly?
Oh, there is so many good foods that, but I would say the awareness is important. So first of all, just make sure you're removing the bad stuff, and then everything else that you are doing, this is absolutely fine. Everything else that you are doing will be absorbed so much better. Okay?
Okay.
So, well, do you really want me to be specific about liquid food is always good. And lots of fibers are very, very good, but it depends on your condition. Because if you have IBS, I wouldn't be recommending fibers for you. So really, it's condition dependent.
Okay.
Obviously, vegetables, you know, natural fibers are coming from vegetables and fruits are very, very good.
So if I have, I'll tell you my.
It's such a big topic
If I tell you my food and what I eat, will you tell me? Well, actually, I wonder if you can do my colonic and you can tell me what you think I'm eating. That would be interesting.
Yes, but anything that has been already digested.
Okay, so a tube is going up there now, I think. Is that correct?
That's right.
You felt nothing?
Inserting it nice and gently.
Felt nothing? Absolutely nothing. It's like I could be at a cocktail party chatting away. So I do feel that sort of, I do.
And I actually think I'm
great because they're asking how you feel.
I feel fine. There's nothing there. I mean, you know, there's something there. No discomfort whatsoever. My knees are on my side, so I'm slightly facing sideways, but I'm just turning to talk to you. And now there's some water going up, is there?
Yes, that's right. So we started. The temperature should be nice and comfortable.
So is the temperature meant to be the same as my body temperature?
It's very, very similar to your body temperature. Okay. Can I please have a straight back, because that's really important for me. So ladies, she may not be turning very often because I really need. So I'm going to start with the left side. We're going to remove some of that trapped wind that we were talking about.
Okay.
There is a mirror here that you could easily see what's.
I don't particularly want to.
Okay,
oddly.
not a problem.
Yeah, I'm happy
take
not
that
to
away.
say anything. Yeah. Do some people? Can I just ask you? Do some people like to see what's happening?
Some people like to see it personally.
They want to see the release.
They, you know, it's a little bit like approval, external approval. I actually
What do you
feel,
mean external
you
approval?
know, like if you see it, then you believe it. I
Okay.
like to teach the person to feel it, to
So
feel exactly
I'll tell you
what's
what I'm
going
feeling
on.
now, because I think it's.
Do you want
I
to?
think
I don't know.
ladies.
No, no.
It's
No,
quite
no,
a
no,
lot
no.
coming already.
I don't think we want to go and look at that. But I'm feeling now, like, you know, when you kind of rush to the loo because
Yes.
you've got a jippy tummy and you've been travelling and suddenly you think, oh, I'm going to go through quite quickly. That's the feeling I've got inside.
That's right.
But is there stuff coming out?
Yes, quite a lot is coming out. Well,
Well, I have.
you don't want to have this on film, so I'm afraid I can't really.
I mean, I
But
don't
it's
think
already
people
coming
want to
through.
see it, really. Ladies, do you want to
Ask
see
them.
it?
Oh my god.
Okay, ladies, do you want to see that? No, I don't particularly want to see it.
Okay.
So I
Let
kind
me
of feel.
tell you a few important,
Yes, yes,
Okay,
tell
so
us,
we're
yeah.
starting on the left side, okay?
Yeah.
Now I can feel in her back, because I just feel when there is a tension.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can feel exactly the areas that will be a little bit tighter.
In
and
my
what's
back?
in the back. So what's interesting, whatever is something in the front is always in the back.
Because I
you
have
know?
quite a lot of back pain.
That's right, I know. Your back is not as flexible as it can be, and I
Yeah.
promise you that it will be.
God, this is like a miracle if I can get
Well-
my back fixed.
Now,
Okay.
can you feel this here?
Yeah,
this
that's
is fine.
very tense there.
And what's interesting that your waist. Can I talk about your waist?
Yes.
So first of all, it's quite nice and it's fairly soft.
Yeah.
So this is an easy response. This is a very comfortable response. All the trapped wind is going to come through first.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who I'm treating, because that's like deflating you in a way. You know,
Okay,
it's getting
so-
rid of all the excess.
So what's coming out first is the gas.
Always the gas.
Oh, okay, I didn't
When
know
you
that. All right.
deflate it during that time, you know, as in depressurized, if you like, because that is pressure inside
Can I just
you.
ask you how this is actually working? Because this is something
Yes.
I didn't figure out. So you're putting warm water up. So how is it then taking out the stuff?
So the way it works, so we first of all using disposable items, and if you study a speculum, I can actually give you a speculum, you can put that
Okay.
on film.
Yeah.
The speculum that goes inside you only goes in about 1.5 to 2 inches maximum.
Yeah.
Okay?
That means
there's a ring
tube.
around, that's
Yeah.
the tube. It's
Mhm.
not really a tube, it's a speculum. People
Okay.
think it's actually a tube, but it's not.
Okay.
2 tubes are attached to it. One is a narrow tube, which
Yeah.
brings in the fresh water
Yeah.
that is filtered several
Yeah.
times, specific for the regulations that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then there is the wider tube through which you can see the stuff coming through,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So basically, then it gets connected to the actual system,
Mhm.
and it really doesn't matter what system you pretty much using, because it's like a tap. The machine isn't really anything to do with it. The machine, as long as the filtration is accurate, as long as it's very, very good and it's high level,
Yeah.
it's the practitioner's job. It's in her hand. The result is in her hand. It's nothing
Okay.
to do with the machines. Lots of people say, "Oh, is it a gravity? Is it this or that?"
Yeah. Okay,
you know,
'cause I
so
never
it's-
understood that.
Yeah,
I
so,
never understood that. Okay.
You know, there's, you know, it is down to the practitioner as to how they work with you. So I'm working now through your back because I can feel where it's a little bit tense.
And that
you
will
know?
help it release in my front.
It will release the front.
Okay.
This is something that I do because I can feel it.
Yeah.
So this is how I work. And
So
of
your
course
connection
you
with
can feel
your
already.
hands
Absolutely.
is sort of the back is helping the front to know where it's
But
going.
it's not just the back. I could be working on your elbow. You know, I could be working on your neck. There's
Yeah.
is a vagus nerve that comes through the neck, which when you massage this part, have a look
Yeah.
at ladies in this part. It's a very good thing to do. When you use your thumb
Yeah.
and you start kind of go into that area. Do that now. Just
Yeah.
literally go into that area where it's a
Yeah.
little bit sensitive.
Yeah.
So when you feel it like it's a little bit sensitive, just keep on massaging that. Then you can come down on the neck,
Yeah.
because that's where the vagus nerve is. And the vagus nerve is also responsible for the actual contractions of the colon, particularly in the lower part.
So you mean if you're constipated, you could do
You
this
can
and it would
help
help?
that. You can help that, absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
You know? So the water goes in and out simultaneously. Very, very important. I never use, the way I treat, I never use much water so you don't feel full, do you?
Okay. No, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
I've had this done once years ago, I think, but I don't feel at all that pressure. Oh my God, and then painful. It's not at all painful, really. So she's now working. You're working on my feet now.
That's right, different areas of the body. Your feet is actually quite good. For some people, I can't even touch the point because it's so painful.
Yeah.
But by the time they released, it's a bit like that nauseousness that the lady was asking earlier.
Yeah.
By the time they released, the waist, the feet is no longer painful.
It's just that tension in our body that we keep everywhere. Yeah.
And that tension shows up because the colon is not only the second brain of the body, but it's also the emotional brain of the body.
Nicole is asking about coffee enema.
Perfect
Yes, tell us
question.
about, yes.
Coffee infusion, I call it infusion because
Yeah.
it's a nicer name for it.
Yeah.
I really would love to come along and do that with you today.
Okay.
Particularly because these fecal wastes are nice and soft, so they're coming out nicely.
Yeah.
So if it was very constipated, I wouldn't do it on the
Okay.
first time, but I could do it with you because I know it would respond well.
What is the
So
point of that?
The point of that, Dr. Gerson was a very famous physician who actually experimented with coffee infusions.
Yeah.
Infusion means that you basically, in this sense, you put it through the bum. So you put it directly into the rectum, just like we do with the water.
Coffee.
Okay, coffee. Obviously, it's got to be good quality.
Okay.
So this is how you get to have coffee with me.
Okay, so tell me the point. Why put
The
coffee up your
point.
bottom?
Okay.
Tell me.
The point, because it has something called palmitic acid. It's
Yeah.
a compound that gets reabsorbed through the hepatic portal vein, and you get to treat the liver. So you're detoxing the liver.
Through
Dr.
a coffee
Gerson,
enema.
Through the coffee infusion, but do it when the colon is no longer so constipated.
So you can get to it.
Because otherwise it gets you a lot of cramping. Okay, if it's
Okay.
very, because it
Yeah.
enhances the peristalsis, it enhances, it's like in a perfume industry in the
When you smell
when you
coffee
smell
in
so many
between
things, and then you get
fragrances.
different
So it
fragrances.
clears out your system and all
liver,
the
and it helps the bowel as well. So it
okay.
helps both organs, the bowel and the liver.
Could
He got rid
somebody
of
do it
these
at home?
headaches. Of course you can, I always encourage it, but you need to know how to do it.
How do
Well,
you do this at home?
You need to make sure that the water that you're using is totally filtered. So all the chlorine, you get
Yeah.
rid of all those pesticides, chlorine, all sorts of things that could be in the water.
Yeah.
Some people say that distilled water is the best, or just boil your water,
Yeah.
and then make sure it's the right temperature, so it's body temperature.
Yeah.
And literally, you get
We're
a
talking
good
coffee
quality
enemas at
coffee
home here.
infusion at
Yeah, if you
home.
just joined. Yeah.
You can get the Gerson coffee from the internet. You can just, order
Yeah.
it or some good
But
quality.
how are you going to put it up? Do you have a
You mix
tube?
it up. There will be an instruction as to how to do it. You need to have an enema bag like this.
Ah, okay.
Ladies, have a look. This is an enema bag, okay?
Okay.
So this is where the coffee infusion will go. And when you only have this at home, you have to hang it up probably about a meter high or something.
Yeah.
You're usually nailing down, or you could be on your left side.
Okay.
So usually it's done on the left side.
Okay.
You can turn the person over after a while.
So if somebody, because I think what's really important is everyone has a different price point. So if somebody's watching this and they think, it's interesting, I have bloating, I have a bit of IBS, I have whatever their things where they're convinced by what you're saying, but they can't afford to go and have I mean, colonics, I think, vary from sort of 70 to, I don't know, £150. I have no, but I think there's an entry price point for a colonic, and if somebody's saying it's only £50, might it be a good one in a small country where things are not so expensive? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
So are you saying
well,
the
I think what I'm
price,
sorry. I think what I'm trying to say is, if you don't feel you want to spend money going somewhere,
Right.
what can you do at home to help you a bit? So is a coffee enema an intro to the idea of cleaning out your colon?
I like to think that, but I would say no, because it's likely you're already very constipated. And then you
Okay.
end up causing yourself quite a lot of
All right, so you
intense-
shouldn't just go
It really
go on
depends
the
on-
internet, find Gershwin's thing and get the coffee enema, unless you already are.
It's really one of those things that it's worthwhile investing. Just have a look at, you just go to a professional, have this done once,
How
everybody
do you
can afford
choose
it.
a professional?
Make
How
sure
do you
you're
know to
registered,
choose the right professional?
Well, word of mouth usually.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that it's reputable and
Yeah.
it's recommended. Go to a good clinic if you can.
Yeah.
That's
So
very
not a
important.
one person on their own.
Have a look at on the internet, see what's written about them, if they've done any publicity or anything
Yeah.
similar. It's like how do you choose it? You really have to research it.
Yeah, you do.
You
Yeah.
really got to look at it
Yeah.
because this is the highest risk in complementary medicine. So it's got to be done properly.
You mean in terms of complementary medicine, it's the one that's the
In
most
terms of
invasive?
insurance, Well, I don't like to use the word invasive,
But
but,
it-
you know, you are putting a substance like water inside,
Yeah.
you know, and it's got to be done. It's got to be
Properly,
done properly.
yeah, okay.
So also they are registered with some associations, so that's very,
What
very
are the
important.
associations they
There's
could be
quite a
registered
few.
with?
There's the International Colon Hydrotherapies. There's RICTAT. There is ARCH. There's quite a few.
So,
All of these
okay.
information you can find on the internet.
Okay, great.
You know, it's really is available. So
Okay. How long have we been on?
Oh my God. I don't know.
A while.
A while, maybe.
Okay,
20
ladies.
minutes. There is one question.
Yes.
One of the,
Yes.
So, is it okay to have colonic if you suffer from diverticulitis?
Diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
you know, I would. It's one of those things. It is a deformation, like I described it. It's like a funnel.
Yeah.
You know, like a balloon, like one
I
part
had
of it.
mild diverticulitis about 2 months ago, but that's why I had an ultrasound to see if there was actually some, you know, proper thing. And it was
That's
very,
right.
it's an inflammation of the
That's
colon,
right.
diverticulitis, and it can be quite bad or it can be very
Yeah,
mild.
very mild. I would say to you, the best thing to do is always go to your doctor and just check this out.
Yeah.
You know? Colonic isn't going to do harm once the doctor says that you can actually go ahead and
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
And if it's nicely done, and I'm really emphasizing that because you don't want someone to put a lot of water inside you,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
that would just end up stretching things.
Okay, so
Yeah.
less water the practitioner uses, the better. I'm going to then put myself in your lovely hands, finish this process. I hope you enjoyed it, ladies. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling slightly like I want to have a pee, but then that's probably because I do want to have a pee.
And why? Because the colon is absorbing your water, you're actually drinking it. So it's naturally
Oh my
flushing
God,
through
okay.
the kidneys. You know, helps with avoiding kidney stones because kidney stones are often just made of calcified protein.
When you're not having enough
That's
fluid
right.
through.
That's right. Yes.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll report back and give you an update, probably on Instagram tonight, as to how I'm feeling after this process, because I've got another half an hour to go. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much for
You're
being
welcome.
on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.